Once it's loaded, I'll welcome everyone. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for our third annual Local Authors Showcase. We're excited. This is our last day, and it's Indie Author Day. So we're so happy to be able to celebrate our local indie authors. Oh, there's a little echo here. Hold on just a moment. There we go. We're glad you all could join us as people come in. If you have any questions for the authors, we are going to have about 15 minutes at the end. But if you would like to submit your question ahead of time, if you're on Zoom, you can put your question into the Q&A. So there should be a little 2 speech bubbles and Q&A at the bottom. And you can type your questions into there. If you're joining us on YouTube, you can type your questions into the chat, and I'll copy them over into our live Zoom. All right, well, without further ado, I'd like to welcome our facilitator for today, who is Lori Burkhart-Frank. Welcome, Lori, and can you introduce our panelists to us? Oh, Lori, I think you muted.
I was muted. Okay, thanks so much, Megan. We're so lucky today to have 4 fantastic panelists for the Support Your Local Authors. So I'm going to introduce them briefly and then ask them to say a word or two about anything they want to add to their introduction. But first we have Angie Kelsey with the Bookseller. And the Bookseller is a full-service independent bookstore located in historic downtown Grass Valley. And they specialize on books in history, nature, outdoor activities, touring information in the Gold Country and the Sierra Nevada and Northern California regions. And then we have Daniel Elkin, if you want to wave to us, Daniel there. He's the president of Field Mouse Press, and Field Mouse Press is a newly formed independent press committed to the comic arts. He's also a teacher at Whitney Prep High School and a comics critic, and he is editor-in-chief of SoulRad, the online literary magazine for comics. And then we have Ingrid Kariotis. Wave to us, Ingrid. And she is a published poet. Her poetry book, It Started with Wild Horses, was published in 2019. She teaches English at Sierra College, and she's part of the Sierra Writers Conference, an annual event providing inspiration and craft progression activities for area writers and Sierra College students through lectures, panels, critique groups, Q&A, workshops, and networking opportunities. And maybe she'll talk about the 2021 conference coming up. And Kim Culbertson. Kim, hello. She is an author of YA novels, Songs for a Teenage Nomad, Instructions for a Broken Heart, Catch a Falling Star, The Possibility of Now, The Wonder of Us. And much of her inspiration comes from her background in teaching high school since 1997. And she wrote her first ebook novella, The Liberation of Max McTrue, for her students, who over the years have taught her far more than she's taught them. So I just want to add each of you say hello and add anything to your intro that I may have missed. Angie?
No. Hi, I'm Angie at the Bookseller. I've been here for now over 20 years, so I've worked here for over half my life, and I love it. I get to spread love of reading with everybody. That's it.
Great. Daniel?
Hi, I'm Daniel Elkin, president of Field Mouse Press, as you said. We're here, we just started this year, the perfect year to start a nonprofit. And we're here to support the comics arts, not really superhero comics, but more of the art comics that are out there, done by a diverse and really excited group of young artists.
Thanks, Daniel. Ingrid?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today. I'm really excited to talk more about the Sierra Writers Conference. I think because it's going to be on Zoom in February, we're going to get a really wide audience reaching beyond Nevada County. So we're super excited about that.
Thanks, Ingrid. And Kim?
Lori, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm just grateful to be part of the vibrant writing community that is Nevada County, and so grateful for our independent bookstores like the Bookseller and our library system up here. I think there's power and empathy in books and in reading and in writing, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kim. Well, we're going to launch right into the questions here. And I want to know what you or your group does to support local authors. So we'll go ahead and start with Angie. You've got a minute and a half.
Okay. What we like to do is we actually have a special page on our website. So it's a little bit of a process for the self-published ones to get them on there. It takes a little bit longer, but we like to promote on our website through our newsletter. And what we've learned over the years is that we don't have a special section for local authors. We actually put them in with their appropriate category, and they typically always sell better that way. But what I always try to do is make sure that we have signatures on them, because the one question we always get is it more expensive? And it's the same price, but they signed it. And I like to try to take advantage of that as much as possible, because we do have a great writing community up here. And we're really fortunate that we have so many people that are local, or that I claim as local, because I claim Tahoe also. And so it's one of those things where we just try to support our local authors as much as we can. We have little stickers we put on them and flags in them that say local author. And when they win awards, we always try to make sure that they're always face out and put their award-winning stickers too.
Thanks, Angie. And Daniel, I'll ask that question of you. What do you or your group do to support local authors?
Well, like I said, we've just got started here, and I'm really trying to connect with anyone in the area who does comics or appreciates comics arts at all. We would love to have a lot more of our local artists featured on our website, and I'm hoping that maybe this could be an opportunity to connect with some of them.
Great, thanks, Daniel. Ingrid, tell us about what you or CR Writing Conference does for local authors.
Absolutely. So CR Writers Conference is a great place to hear from local writers. Folks like Kim Culbertson, who we have today, Sands Hall, and other local authors are regulars. They give presentations and workshops every year as part of the conference. So if you haven't been before, this is a great year for you to come for the first time. We also are really excited about our critique groups, because beyond having the opportunity to listen to local writers, you actually have the opportunity to get some feedback from local writers as part of the conference as well, and to network. I think a writing conference is just a wonderful place for us to be able to meet each other, to talk ideas, to go beyond just what our individual genre is and learn from folks who are writing in other genres. So it's just a really vibrant time to talk with folks about writing, and talk about things that we all have in common, like figuring out how to navigate writer's block, or how do we write the political, all these great questions that we have as writers, we get to all tackle together. And so it's just a wonderful time every year to come together and really listen to each other and just have those great conversations.
And Ingrid, I didn't announce it, but you are doing this in Zoom for 2021, and you're a keynote speaker?
Oh, I'm not. No, I'm on the organizing committee. Our keynote speakers, we're very excited to have 2 African-American keynote speakers this year, James McBride and Bettina Love. And I'll talk a little bit more about them as we progress.
Okay, great. All right, Kim, what do you do? Oops, I'm sorry, that was Ingrid. So you get to start.
I'm done. I'm over. That's okay. I'll stop talking.
What do you do to support local authors?
I think as individual authors in this community, the thing I love most about this community is the way we really lift each other up. We don't see each other as a competition, or I love the way, if Max Con has a workshop, or Sands Hall has a workshop, or Ingrid has a book coming out, we all shout about it on social media, and we all tell each other hey, check out Ingrid's book, or check out what's going on over here with Max's workshop or Sands's workshop. I know I do private editing, I do manuscript consulting, and Ingrid is constantly hey, Kim does editing, and Sands is always referring people to me. So it's there's just a really great community up here that lifts each other up and supports each other.
Great, thank you very much. So my next question is, what should local Nevada County fans do to support their local authors? And we'll start again with Angie.
Really, it's when they are active with social media, the authors, when they're active with social media and getting in with that, and with the union, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those. And then we have the word of mouth when people come in. We do always try to have like displays out when we can, and just to kind of give some notice that way. But really word of mouth when the authors are really pushing it and getting in with the union and having articles written about them, if they get lucky and they get on one of the radio stations to be able to talk about it. That's really what I've noticed helps spread the self-published local author. And even when you get in with a bigger publisher and they give you a bigger advertising budget, it's still word of mouth is really what helps push the local authors. And because then it just depends on what that customer is looking for, because then if they say they're looking for, historical, like local history, and I'm like, well, we have some lovely local historical fiction, very well researched. And so you can kind of segue into that. Just depends on what the subject is and what the customer is looking for us.
Great, thanks, Angie. And from your perspective, what can Nevada County fans do to support their local authors, Daniel?
Well, I would just sort of pony off of what Angie just said. Another thing that I think is pretty effective also is to, if you find a book that you really like, is to leave reviews on some of the sites that sell books, Amazon being, of course, the monster over there, but Goodreads is also a good place to leave some reviews, and just plug away, word of mouth.
Thanks, Daniel. And Ingrid, your thoughts?
Oh, there's so many ways where to start. Supporting your local bookstores is huge. I want to give a shout out to Harmony Books in Nevada City that also does a wonderful job promoting local authors. And Stacy at Harmony also does a great job of stocking the books that we're going to have at the Sierra Writers Conference, so that if you want to get that presenter's book ahead of time, you can grab that and read it ahead of time, which is wonderful. I would say buying books at authors events is really huge too. If you're at a book launch, someone's book just came out, support them and buy their book. None of us are in this for the big money, but it's a wonderful way to really endorse that person's message and their writing, whether it's teen fiction, whether it's poetry, whether it's nonfiction. Reading, as Kim was suggesting earlier, is such a portal to understanding everyone around you. And getting outside of your own skin. And so getting out of the genres that you might normally maybe tend to read in, and trying some books by local authors, maybe in genres you don't normally read about the gold rush, whatever the new things are coming out. I agree, social media is a great way for us to spread word about new books by local authors that are coming out. I also encourage folks, once we move out of the Zoom universe, which will happen, to volunteer. Come volunteer at the Sierra Writers Conference, the Sierra Poetry Festival. Get involved.
Thank you, Ingrid. And Kim?
I just want to really echo what Ingrid was saying about independent bookstores and libraries, like getting in when you know that there's a book like coming out that you're interested in from a local author. Make sure the libraries have it, and make sure the bookstores have it. Get in there and voice what you want to see on those shelves. I know the Bookseller has been a huge partner to me in my career. I feel so lucky to have them in my corner as a writer. I think another thing to remember too is that most of us don't really make our living off of our books. So we do workshops and we teach classes and we edit and we have other side jobs. And so take those as local citizens, share our stuff when we promote it, share it on, I have so many people who are lovely on Facebook who will say, oh, Kim's doing another 100-word story workshop, check it out. And I get, then I get clients that way. And so it's and a lot of my income comes from my other stuff, my teaching. And so it's making sure that you are joining, if an author has I think it's Patreon there, where you can support them every month with $5. Like, these are ways to just jump on like Molly Fisk's site or Maxima Khan's site and like support them, because artists are essential. It's not optional in our communities.
Thank you, Kim. So my next question is, how do you find your books? And we'll start back with Angie.
Well, when it comes to local author books, it is a lot of it is word of mouth. One of the other authors telling me about somebody, or on our website, we actually have a submit page where you can put in all of your information, and we check it as often as we can. Come the holidays, we don't check it nearly as often as we should, but we do go through those, and we actively look for new ones that we can carry. We're looking for if it's available through a distributor, which then also makes it easier for other bookstores to carry. So if I start doing well with it, when I'm talking with another bookstore that's close by to us and go, hey, I have a really great local author, it's available through Ingram, here you go. And so just trying to spread the word of mouth that way. But it's also really when they send us an email or they do the author submission and then they follow up with me, is really the best way that I find out about it.
Thanks, Angie. And Daniel, how do you find your books?
Well, a lot of it is through social media, to be honest. The comics community is a pretty tight-knit group, and they're pretty supportive of each other. And so a lot of it comes that way. We also are constantly taking some submissions on our websites. And there's a section on our website for submissions. And if you have something that you would like to promote, please send it our way. We'd be glad to do it. Absolutely.
Thank you, Daniel. And Ingrid?
So those of us on the Sierra Writers Conference Committee, a lot of folks are involved today. So you'll see folks like Ivan Lurie and Lisa Redfern will be in the exhibit today. And then for the Sierra Writers Conference, we'll have a page like that on our website with the folks that are involved in the conference, their books, good places to get them. It's really important that oftentimes the best place to get a book is from the author themselves, especially when you talk about poetry. The poet will tend to make much more money if they sell the book to you directly than if you buy it through a bookstore. And so that's a good thing to realize too, is that a lot of authors have web pages, and you can go right to the web page. You can purchase the book right from their web page. That's how I have it set up. And I know a lot of poets have a similar arrangement. So again, at the conference time, it's a great time to go on the webpage and purchase the books, but know that authors, they have their Facebook pages, they have their web pages too. So
thanks, Ingrid.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim?
So how do I find books? I don't know if this question as a singular author applies as much to me, other than that to find my books, I go to the bookseller. That's where I find books. But to find my books, all the usual places. I just want to take a minute to stress, I think, how important relationship is in this community. I know that Ingrid talked about networking, and I do think that's super important, but I think it really stems from relationship building in this community, is attending people's functions and being part of writing groups, and in a genuine way, in an authentic way, because it's a beautiful community. And that way, when people have stuff going on, you find out about it authentically, and you want to support people authentically. And I know the bookseller, for me, after I won the Northern California Book Award for Instructions for a Broken Heart, they had a huge sign up in the window. I mean, they were so proud of me, and it felt like so good. And then it was Angie and that community that promoted me to Scholastic, which is how I got through their buyer. They were like, hey, if you're ever looking for an author, this author's great. I mean, I can pretty much I owe my Scholastic career to the bookseller. And so, because it was mentioned. And so it's really that relationship piece is key.
Thank you very much. So what are you up to right now? And Angie, what are you up to right now?
We're living it day by day. And that's really kind of what we're trying to do, is we've make the so people can still come into the store, still browse, and we've tried to make it as safe as possible, because if it's safe for us as employees, then it's going to be safe for the customers. Because really, the one big thing to come out of the pandemic for us is, because we never shut down, they let us be an essential business, because books are essential, always have been. But they let us be an essential one, and that really helped. But I also think, though, because of this, it has really changed the community to focus more on local and realize that it's the locals that keep us going. And then I have seen an uptick in purchases made with local authors, simply because people are wanting to spend their money not only with us, but then also to support local authors. The buy local, be local movement has, I think, really blossomed because of this. And I mean, on the bright side of this horrible thing we're living through is that we have this really great movement for local. And it really has made a difference for us to be able to get through this every day. And it's a little different each day you come in. There's a little bit different cleaning policies, but we're getting through it. And I think as long as we keep at local and be local, buy local, I think everybody will hopefully get through this with a little bit of sanity, just a little bit.
Thanks, Angie. And Daniel, I'm going to ask you the same question. What are you up to right now?
Well, we're still running our online literary magazine for comics called SoulRad. You can find it at soulrad.co, no M, just CO. Another thing that we're doing is we're really trying to do some organization and trying to get some information out to our community, specifically around contracts and healthcare and things like that for people who are really struggling right now and don't have a lot of access to information. So not only is our role to be supportive of the work themselves, but also the artists who are going through it right now. Another thing that we've just started is we're also actively fundraising for our organization. So we, while we're pursuing grants and whatnot as a 501c3, we just started our own Patreon page that we have a link to on our website, and I encourage you to check that out as well.
Thanks, Daniel. And Patreon, is it just patreon.com or patreon.org? How do we find Patreon?
I believe it's patreon.com.
Well, we can check that out. Okay. We'll get back on that. All right, Ingrid, what are you up to right now?
Well, I'm of course trying to do some pandemic poetry like all the poets out there. But in terms of the CR Writers Conference Committee, we are busily scurrying to get all of our presenters together for the conference, which I don't know if I've mentioned the dates yet. It's going to be February 5th and 6th, Friday and Saturday. And we're really excited. A couple of years ago, we managed to expand to Rockland, and this year we're expanding to Zoom. And so again, I just think there's going to be a lot more involvement from outside of town folks besides our local folks. We're working hard with the Sierra College Foundation and other groups that support us to keep prices low too, which is really huge. It's only $10 for Friday. It'll be $20 for Saturday. And then if you want to join in the critique groups, $30, which those of you who know how much it normally costs to get a piece of writing reviewed by a wonderful author, it's usually quite expensive. So we're really excited to provide this for our community that for a really reasonable prices, you can hear all these wonderful authors. Super excited. One other thing I wanted to mention is that we have one of Yuba Lit's wonderful presenters who's joining us this year. And those of you who know about Yuba Lit, it's another just amazing forum for local and also, much wider than that, writers for us to go and listen to and learn. Debbie Laskar, who has a wonderful book called The Atlas of Reds and Blues, read at Yuba Lit last year, and she has just signed on as one of our presenters for the conference. So she's a Bay Area writer that, if you've heard her, she's just very dynamic. So we're super excited to bring some new voices into the conference this year. So that's what we're working on.
Thanks, Ingrid. And Kim, what are you working on?
Oh my. So I'm doing NaNoWriMo right now, which for those of you who don't know, that's National Novel Writing Month. I've been sort of dragging my feet on a upmarket women's fiction novel that I've been working on for like a year and a half. and just decided I'm going to just do it. I'm going to write 50,000 words this month, and I'm going to just do it. This week was really a struggle. I think ended up with about 7,800 words by the end of the week, but I'm hoping that now that the dust is settling a little, I can focus a little more next week on my word count. I'm also really excited because Grant Faulkner, who is the executive director of Nanowrimo, and also he runs the website 100wordstory.org, is helping me out with a book that I'm working on that's 100 word stories in the language arts classroom and how to use them for language arts teacher. And we're in the process of collecting submissions by teen writers ages 12 to 18 to collect their 100 word stories as part of this book that we're organizing for the language arts classroom. So I'm really excited about that project right now. Yeah, that's what I'm totally focusing on. And I'm gearing up for the Sierra Writers Conference. I'm really excited about the workshop I'm teaching for them. And I get to be on the critique group. And I love working with other authors on their manuscripts. It's one of the great joys of my life. It's been one of the great joys of this pandemic for me, to just sit and talk to authors about their stories. So I'm really excited to keep working on that as well.
Great, thank you very much. And so the next question I have here is, what have you been reading lately? So we've all had, well, that's not right. I was gonna say we've all had more time to read. I don't know that that's true. Everybody's busier than ever before, but reading's become more important maybe to us. So Angie, what are you reading?
I'll be honest, because of this year, I have been reading a lot of rom-coms because I needed happiness, pure happiness. I needed to guarantee happy. But it's one of those things. I've actually revisited some of my favorite kids series also, simply because it's like, it was, I think it was May, it was before we'd actually reopened, and everything was still trying to get opened, and just like, I need happiness. So I picked up Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan, and it made my day. So it's one of those things where I've been revisiting some of my old favorites. I know I should be reading some more of the new stuff, but with everything in turmoil right now, when I get home, I kind of just want a little bit of happiness. So Meg Cabot, a new romance novel out. So she's kind of my tried and true happy. And so I've been going for happy this year, a lot of happy.
Great. Okay, Daniel, what are you reading?
Well, there's an endless supply, that's for sure. I actually brought some with me. Brought them. I'm actually at home. I don't know where I would have brought them. But anyway, this one is called Ley Lines by Simon Morton. It's a book published by Chapbooks. It's sort of a hybrid photography and comic. Real good stuff. This book is by cartoonist named Emma Hunzinger. Excuse me. She would feel the same, sort of about a breakup, but how to deal with the breakup. This one is just amazing. This is by Ricky Villadsen, and it's called Tuberculosis 2020. And it's a series of work that they did during this pandemic, all based on the work of the artist Edvard Munch. And then the last one I have here is, this is called Showa. It's a manga about the history of Japan leading up to World War II. And afterwards, it's 3 volumes of this size, and it's pretty amazing. So I'd recommend all of those.
Wonderful. Thanks for that show and tell. And Kim, what are you reading?
Oh my gosh, can I have an hour to answer this question? So I read a lot of spy novels and a lot of detective novels. When I, like Angie with rom-com, when I want to crave something kind of just that feels nourishing, which feels weird because they're usually about like murders. But there's something very like comforting about the detective novel structure. They generally are structurally kind of reliable. But right now, as of this moment, I'm reading The Cold Millions by Jess Walter, who's one of my absolutely favorite novelists in the world. He wrote Beautiful Ruins and The Financial Lives of Poets, which was one of a novel I absolutely fell in love with him reading. So that's what I'm reading right now, but I'm always reading poetry too. If you haven't picked up Ingrid's book, it's gorgeous. I actually have it sitting by my bed. She's just such a gorgeous writer. So I usually kind of intersperse poetry with my novels that I'm reading.
Wonderful. Thanks. Lots of inspiration here for all of us. So do you have any wisdom to share for local authors or aspiring local authors? And we'll go back to Angie on that. What's your wisdom to share?
Persistence. Also, once we get to do events again, like real in-store events, to not be discouraged by low turnouts. It's the name of the game. We've had big authors where I've had 3 people, and I got lucky. One of them was my dad, and he just kept asking questions. But it's one of those things where it's persistence. I know all the authors can relate to that because you hear no a lot, and it's one of those things where it's just about to keep at it. And then, even if you have the book in the store and it's, and we've been trying to do our stuff, it's again getting that word of mouth out, really kind of pushing it and selling it, and just trying to get people's attention on it, and to not give up. If it doesn't work in a year, you still have to keep working on it. And because we have some big time book series that it took me like a solid 4 to 5 years to get this into the kids' hands and to go, no, this is really funny. It's really big. And it was a big publisher, and they had a lot of money they were spending at this. And it took me like 4 to 5 years to the kids to finally go, oh, wait, you're right. So, even with the companies that are spending lots of money on the publishing, it can take a while to get traction in different locations. And our location is very different. Things that sell really well in the Bay Area don't sell well up here, or vice versa. So it's just the persistence of it, and then to just keep trying, and to build the relationship with your followers, with the bookstores, whether it's us, Harmony, or doing events through Zoom. It's just about to keep pushing it and to keep going for it.
Thanks, Angie. And Daniel, what wisdom do you have to share with local authors or aspiring local authors?
I don't know if it's wisdom, but I would say certainly do the work. Just keep working, and really don't let gatekeepers keep you out from the places you want to be as well. The internet has made the space available to everyone, and don't ever let somebody shut you out of an area. And then never feel ashamed to self-promote. A lot of it is you just need to be out there doing it. I know it can seem a little much sometimes and a little awkward, but it's all part of it. It's really part of the game, is just promote yourself.
Thanks, Daniel. And Ingrid, wisdom to local authors and aspiring local authors.
Well, the first thing that came into my mind in terms of a piece of advice for local poets is do Molly Fisk's Poetry Boot Camp. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And it's a perfect thing to do during the pandemic because it's online. I love that. And so I highly encourage folks who are poets to check that out. And it's just back to that getting involved. Us writer folk, we spend a lot of time by ourselves, scrolling away. And so join a writing group, get together with a friend or two, give each other some feedback. Start with gentle feedback, right? Even just folks just listening to each other read and deciding, we're not even going to comment. We're just going to go around and everybody's going to have a chance to read. Oh my gosh, it's so helpful to kind of get out of your own headspace and share what you're working on. So I really encourage people to do that. I think sometimes people squirrel away what they're working on for various reasons. And I say, get out there and share it as you can. And then just attending those local book launches, they are so inspiring. And I realize right now they're virtual, which, okay, it's not quite as good. But there's a lot of wonderful local authors whose books have come out this year and have done virtual book launches or are in the process of getting one together. If you follow me on Facebook, I always post these. Local writers like Chris Mulvey, Liz Collins, Judy Ray, Maxima Khan. These folks all had books come out in this past year that are just fantastic. So yeah, follow them, find out when they're doing their virtual book launches, and get inspired.
Great. Thanks, Ingrid. And Kim.
So, you know, I just echo what Dan was saying about wisdom. I'm not sure I have any other than I think the longer I spend in publishing and in writing, the less certain I become about anything. But the one thing I am certain about is that your writing life and your publishing life are not the same thing. And you really need to like put a nice firewall between the two of them, because I think we get really hung up on the publication piece as writers, and it's so much of your life is spent on the work and on the writing. And yeah, publishing's great, and it feels good when someone writes you and tells you they loved your book, and it feels awful when someone writes and tells you they hate your book, which is both will happen. But I think you have to always remember that the source of this started somewhere within you. And it's so key to keep that practice yours and to find your voice and your practice, and not allow your own self-worth and your own feelings of success be determined by like what Dan was saying about the gatekeepers, because they're just this exterior, that's someone with an opinion somewhere in a room somewhere. And so believe in yourself, like believe in your work, be proud of your work. You sat down, you wrote this, you drew this, you did whatever you did. And that's awesome, because you just put something in the world that wasn't there before. And that's super special. And so I constantly just tell my young writers, my teen writers, it's a little bit of having magic being a writer. Like you're magicking something into the world. And so be proud of that and own it. Get better, like work hard, learn your craft, but you know, don't let the pinnacle rest on whether or not someone told you it was good.
Great, thank you. What kind of events, programs, classes do you do? Angie?
Well, eventually we'll have real events again, because I was all excited. I had this huge thing planned for local authors this summer during the Thursday night markets, and that totally fell through. But eventually I am going to bring it back. We will have real events in the store. I'm not super tech savvy, so the Zoom has not really been my friend. So I've not really tried to do any online events, but it's been, because it's actually worked out okay for me in the fact that so many of the authors are so self-motivated and they've been doing it themselves, and I'm happy to have their books here. But if they can do the Zoom, that's great. But once we get back in person, that's what I miss, is having the people in the store and having the people at the event and the questions, the answers. And so eventually I really would like to bring back just events in the store, and just giving a platform again for local authors. And I've saved my whole thing that I was going to do this summer. And when we get to do this again, I'm going to bring it back. So because I already have it all regular platformed out. And so I just need to be able to invite authors to be able to come into the store.
Thanks, Angie. And what kind of events or programs or classes do you do, Daniel?
Well, at Bitney Prep, I teach a comic book class, so how to make comics. That's what I'd like to do some more of that in the larger community outside of the high schools. Especially like to try and bring local writers and local artists together and see if we could do some really interesting things together, as well as continue to do editing over at Solrad and promote our criticism. Really looking forward to, like Angie was saying, about in-person events. There's some amazing conventions, small press conventions throughout the area, in the Bay Area and Sacramento, and all over the country, that are just wonderful opportunities to find some new cartoonists and to just meet people and to network. And as well, we do a podcast occasionally, and where we try and bring a lot of people in and talk about particular works. And yeah, that's kind of what we're doing right now. Once everything settles, hopefully, we'll be able to start doing some more events here in town, maybe some small little festivals and things like that as well.
Thanks, Daniel. Ingrid, what kind of events, programs, or classes do you do?
Well, along with teaching English at Sierra College, I also work in the Writing Center. So I want to just take a minute to encourage folks who are Sierra College students, Godoti students, maybe you're in a OSHA lifelong learning class, you can all use the Writing Center. And it's just, I love my work because I get to work with writers all across the spectrum, whether they're in their first college English class and needing to kind of get that essay polished up, or they're working on a creative writing piece for a poetry class. I get to work on them and talk with them and just explore the writing process with folks that maybe are a little rusty or maybe have been writing since they could hold a pencil. And it's just a wonderful job. And I just feel so privileged to work at Sierra College and now to work, even though it's on Zoom, it's still happening in the Writing Center, and it's free, which is really wonderful. And the Sierra Writers Conference Committee is also something I'm super involved with, obviously. And I wanted to throw Lynette Vroman's name out there because she is the chair of the committee and really the backbone of the committee and just doing amazing work. And so if you have questions, you have ideas for what you'd like us to do as part of the Sierra Writers Conference, shoot an email her way. I'll put her email in the chat, or shoot an email my way, because it's all about getting the community involved. It's a partnership. It's not just a Sierra College thing. It's a partnership between Sierra College and Sierra Writers, which is just a wonderful local group. Folks like Hawk and Lisa, a lot of you know, that have just done great work with Sierra Writers. So
Great. Thank you, Ingrid.
Mhm.
And what kind of events, programs, classes do you do, Kim?
Right. So I'm in the thick of college essay season. I'm a private essay consultant for teenagers who are applying to colleges and need some guidance, because the college essay, the college personal statement, is its own brand of storytelling. And so I really try to work with the teen writer in their individual voice. I have clients all over the country. I'm gonna probably make a lot of enemies, but I like Zoom. I'm loving it, actually, for this kind of stuff, because I've been using Skype for years doing these kind of things, and Zoom has just changed my life. Sorry, Skype, but it's been so great for these workshops. I've had, I think my last college essay workshop I had kids from like 5 or 6 different states who were on my workshop. And I teach 100-word story writing workshops. I do private manuscript editing. I'm actually booked out through the end of January with private manuscripts that I edit for people. I do writing coaching. So all of this is on my website, kimculbertson.com. And like I said earlier, I'm attempting to write 50,000 words this month of the new novel. So, and I have a new puppy. So it's just, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. But I've been loving my Zoom workshops these past few months, just because it allows me to access people from all over the country, and it just feels really cool. But I love doing in-person ones too, and we'll happily do those when that becomes a possibility again. But and Angie, if you need help with Zoom, let me know. I'll help you out. I'll moderate. Tell Anna, she'll do it. My daughter works for Angie at the Bookseller. We'll help you out.
That's good. I love this collaboration. Well, this is my final question before we open it up to questions from the audience. What are you looking forward to? Angie, what are you looking forward to?
Well, as much as other people love technology, it's just not my thing. And Anna can really say this now. But it's one of those things I guess I since I've been doing this for so long, I kind of have the old school approach that I just really want in-person events. And once it's to do that, that's what I really crave. And then because you get a different group of people when they actually show up, and the Zoom is wonderful because then you can get people from across the country. And the one event that we did do was with the Scholastic, the I Survived the California wildfires, and they took inspiration from the Reading fire and Paradise fire. And it was amazing. We had like 100 attendees and people from across the country and the author herself was back east. So, I mean, it was amazing. And it was nice that smaller independents like us that are pretty much out of the way can get bigger authors now through Zoom, but it loses that personal feel that I really like. And I really look forward to the time that we can have it in store again and just being able to see people's faces. I get really excited about babies because they don't have masks. I was like, it's a full face. And, you know, it just, once we got back to a little bit more like a normal thing to have more people in the store and just to feel that community, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you, Angie. Daniel, what are you looking forward to?
I don't know if I could say it any better than Angie just said it. I'm really looking forward to just being able to be amongst community again, people face-to-face sharing what they're working on, what they've done. There's nothing like it. Zoom is great. You're right. It does allow us to have these sort of international events, but it will never replace that face-to-face thing. And like I was saying earlier, the conventions, the thing that I really like about these small conventions is you just go in and you don't know what you're going to find. And just wandering around aisle to aisle and looking at things, I really miss that. I'm really looking forward to that coming back.
Thanks, Daniel. Ingrid, what are you looking forward to?
I am looking for 2021 to be a year to celebrate diversity. That is what I'm looking forward to. I am super excited about the movements for anti-racism and appreciating diversity in the state, in the country. I'm thrilled with going down a new path. Looking at our two keynotes for our conference, Bettina Love is the author of a book called We Want to Do More Than Survive. It's about abolitionist teaching. And James McBride, his new book, Good Lord Bird, won the National Book Award, and it's all about John Brown. So I think we've just got some very exciting national conferences ahead and just some national conversations that are just going to include much more diverse voices. And I want to hear those voices.
Thanks, Ingrid. Kim, what are you looking forward to?
Just to echo what Ingrid said, I'm looking forward to the first female woman of color vice president sitting in our White House. I'm super excited about that. Just super excited. I was crying all morning. And agree with what Ingrid said about the anti-racist movement. I've been super proud of the young adult fiction world and their social justice activism, and to be a part of a community that cares about all voices being represented and all voices mattering. Has been felt really proud to be a part of that young adult literature community. I am looking forward to in-person events as well. I'm looking forward to Angie throwing some more in-person events because she throws great ones. When my book came out in 2014 for Catch a Falling Star, they did a whole Hollywood theme with a red carpet and a photo booth. And it was just an amazing event. And they're just spectacular. And Angie's she's just tremendous at these events. As an author who has to often drive to San Francisco for an hour-long event and then drive home, Zoom has been nice on my gas bill, so I haven't had to do that. But I do miss just hugging people. I'm looking forward to hugging again because I'm a hugger.
That sounds great. So we're now going to open it up to any questions that anybody has, and if you could put that in the Q&A area. And I didn't see any in this format, and we'll see if Megan has any that are coming up in the live on YouTube or Facebook format.
I'm so sorry. Can I?
Yes, no, please, Angie.
To tag on to what Ingrid and Kim were talking about, we actually had an amazing customer started an anti-racist reading fund. And so for nonfiction reading books, and then the kids' books it's a little bit more breezy about it, is that we give 50% off as long as the fund still runs. And so it's something that you just need to make sure you tell us about. But for any of those ones that want to get into and educate yourself, we had a really amazing customer set up that fund. So again, just let us know, and so we'll be able to take care of it for you. And we've had a lot of other people refuse to use it and then add to the fund. So there is still money in there to help self-educate yourself about anti-racism.
And Angie, when that money runs out, you let us know, because we will keep replenishing that fund.
We have such a great community. The customer they brought us just to tears, and it was just amazing during the pandemic. And then to have this happen, it was like, we're so special here.
I can definitely agree with that. We are so special here. And I'm not seeing any questions come up right now. So we have another few minutes. So I'm just going to rotate through you to have final thoughts that you'd like to share with local authors and ways that they can find help and support or give help and support. So we just heard from Angie. We'll go back to you, Angie, but we're going to start with Daniel this time.
Yikes. Some final words of support. Like I said earlier, I guess just keep doing the work and never be ashamed to get out there and just really promote what you're doing. I think Kim said it really well, that you're making magic here, and that's great. Also, just as a plug, I would say that give comics a chance. Also, don't just limit yourself to one genre, like we were talking earlier before. Comics can be literature. They are literature and they are art, and it's an amazing form to explore information in new ways that you would never probably access otherwise.
Thanks, Daniel. And who wants to go next with some additional words, your thoughts? Kim? I saw Kim's mic go off, and then Ingrid.
I just wanted to echo what Daniel was saying about graphic novels and comics, because I use them in my classroom all the time, and they're so special and they're so dynamic. I taught a graphic novel version of The Scarlet Letter. It was awesome. The kids actually got super into it. And I always just love it anytime people want to act like there's something that's like secondary to literature, because they're not. They're as powerful of a form of literature as any written word literature. And so, Daniel, thank you so much for what you're bringing to the table, because it's so cool.
Thanks. And then Ingrid.
Oh, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Don Rogers and the folks at the union, because we've talked about local bookstores and having a local paper in 2021, like how cool is that? And it's a local paper that supports local writers and publishes a diversity of voices. And so I want to add that to our list of things that we love about our community. I think it's really special.
Thank you. And that is a great resource for our community. And Angie, some final thoughts.
As long as somebody's reading, that's all I care about. I don't care what the genre is. I don't care what it's about. As long as they're reading. And so Kim knows this, but my ongoing argument with parents, and it's like, it's below their reading level. And it's like, it doesn't matter, they're reading, right? And they're the graphic novels, and they're learning something completely different when they're reading graphic novels, because you have the story behind with the scene, with the pictures, plus the word. And so it's one of those things where it's an ongoing education, everybody. But that books, I don't care what you're reading, as long as you're reading and it makes you happy, then I'm good with it.
Great, Angie. And so I see here that Megan's got some announcements she can make, but I just want to give you all one more last chance if there's anything you want to say about today or our future writers.
Just thank you for the opportunity to do this.
Yeah, we have a wonderful library who organizes these events. So yes, thank you, Megan. And Megan, you want to go ahead and give us some announcements?
Sure thing. So at 12 o'clock today, so that's in about half an hour, our keynote address from inaugural Nevada County Poet Laureate Molly Fisk is going to be really interesting. She's going to be talking about her most recent poetry compilation that she put together about California and fire. So that's going to be absolutely fascinating. So if you haven't signed up yet, you can always check out our local author showcase website, and we've got the link to join there. And then what else is coming up? Let's see, we have a special Just My Type writing club. They're doing theme for National Novel Writing Month all month long, and they're on Mondays at 4 p.m. And this upcoming Monday on November 9th, we're going to be featuring local author Diane Covington Carter. She's going to be talking about how it's never too late to start writing. So that should be really, really fun and really fascinating. And they have some other really, really fun programs for that writing club coming up. So definitely stay tuned and join in, because it's going to be a blast. And then another thing that's upcoming is winter reading. So this year we're adding on. We're not just doing summer reading, we're doing winter reading. And it's a little bit more chill. It's chill reading, but it's going to be really fun. And it starts in December. It'll be mid to late December that's going to start. So you can either do it, pick up a paper copy of our challenge, or you can join us online again. We're branching out and learning all about these virtual online programs. And I'm kind of with Kim. I'm really enjoying the capacity it's allowing us to grow, I think, as much as we really, really miss in-person programs a lot. It has been kind of exciting. I think we have the most authors who have ever joined us. It's almost 50 authors this year at the local author showcase. So that's been something special that we've been able to kind of expand in that way. And that's kind of throughout our programs have been able to expand. So that's very cool. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about our Nevada County Reads and Writes. So that's coming up. It's going to start in February of 2021. And next year we're reading The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich, which is very cool and very exciting, because I think it also kind of connects with this moment of, justice for people of color. And we're definitely going to be playing on that. And we've partnered with the Nevada County Arts Council, as well as the California Heritage Indigenous Peoples Research Project, and the local Nisenan tribe. So we're really excited to be able to kind of continue that work and, talk about what's going on nationally as well as in our own community. And we'll have lots of cool programs and things that are flexible. There'll be some grab bags and online, and maybe if we're lucky and things start getting better, we'll be able to do in person. But yeah, it's going to be really great. And that book is available now at the library. So if you're interested, definitely put a copy on hold and come and pick it up. We are actually, as long as we stay in the orange tier, library branches in Grass Valley, Nevada City, and Truckee are going to be reopening on November 16th. So yes, you'll be able to come in and browse for 30 minutes and find your book in person and check it out. And yeah, we have some other really exciting kind of stuff like that coming on. And I do want to read a comment we had from author Shirley Dickard, who says, "Thank you all for such robust support for writers and reading. I agree, Nevada County area is unique in the way we as in authors, bookstores, newspapers, radio programs, etc., embrace new and experienced writers." And definitely agree with that. We're very lucky at the library to be in such an amazing creative community.
And I have a question for you, Megan, because this has been a really diverse conversation with really talented and interesting people. Is this recorded? Can people watch this afterwards if we know of somebody who missed it?
Excellent question. Yes, this is going to be recorded. It's going to be available on our local author showcase website, as well as the library's YouTube. So if you just go to our website at mynevadacounty.com/library, you can pass on the link to access this amazing webinar to your friends and your family from our YouTube or from the local author showcase website. And I do want to put in a plug for the local author showcase website one more time. The exhibit hall has been absolutely spectacular, and it has been getting a lot of attention and a lot of interest. It's got all the information about the local authors who are participating this year. Everybody gets their own page, and it's got bios, it's got links to purchase their books, it's got videos and contact information. So it's a very cool thing that we were able to pull together this year.
And how long will that be available?
That'll be available for another week or so.
Excellent. This has
All
been
right.
very fun, and it is amazing what resources we do have in this community, and the collaboration, just the interconnection between all of you who are in your own ways doing different things, but clearly very connected. Special.
And I do want to say thank you to all of our panelists today who were able to join us. I love that we're able to have local talent and as well as local like bookstores and publishers and people to kind of support us this year with the local author showcase and partner with us. And definitely want to say shop local. we're trying to support that as much as we can. It's down here in the West County. We've got some amazing bookshops, but also if you're up in Truckee, if you're joining us from there, you've got the Word After Word bookshop up there as well. So definitely shop local because we've got some great, and they support local authors all over the county as well as, you know, Tahoe area.
Thank you so much, Megan.
Yeah, thank you, Megan, for you and everybody at the library who put this together.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.